Hello and welcome to 10,000 Stitches podcast episode 18, I think it is. You may notice things look different because they are different, but let me get the introductions out of the way and then I'll show you guys around. Anyway, my name is Andy and this is a podcast all about the joys of sock knitting. Let's see, if you want to find me/us online, you can find me on social media as Pearlbug on Ravelry, Twitter, and Instagram. That's Pearlbug, P-U-R-L-B-U-G. I have my website at thepearlbug.com, and we have a Ravelry group for the 10,000 Stitches podcast. And if you want to get in contact with me, you can contact me through any of those social media things that I mentioned, through like messages or comments or anything like that. You can also drop a line in the group in one of the threads, or there's a contact page on my blog and you can fill out a form that sends it right to my email address, or there's my P.O. Box address if you prefer snail mail. I'm recording this on, what is today? Today is Sunday, April 3rd, and it's about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, so a little bit later today because of my tutoring stuff. But anyway, so let's address the elephant in the room, and that is that I am not sitting on my bed like I usually am, and that's because we got our desk finished. So I will give you guys a quick little tour around the room. I will note it's not clean, you know. We live here, so there's like dirty socks on the floor and stuff, but there's nothing embarrassing, so that's fine. So let me go ahead and grab my camera. It's also really weird, so I will note right now I'm currently looking at my laptop, but like we have the desk and I have the desktop computer right behind my laptop, but I couldn't get everything loaded properly. So I'm currently recording this on my laptop still, but hopefully by next week I'll be able to record with the big fancy computer that we have. So let me see if I can take this camera off of here and get the cord to not be tangled around anything. The nice thing is that I'm not using the mic on the camera. Hello. So I can go ahead and take the camera off. Okay, so this, vidception. So this is my laptop. This is the desktop microphone. So this is the desk. Oh, let's see. The cord is tangled around my computer. Okay, so this is the desk. So it's a standing desk. So it's about 38 inches high because that's what works for us. Wesley is about 5 inches shorter than I am, so we kind of had to make it a happy medium between the two of us. But yes, it's a standing desk, so that's a whole bunch of junk under the desk. A lot of this stuff here is like computer part boxes and stuff that we just haven't dealt with yet because of the rebates and stuff on them. And then this is the tower for the computer. That's a whole bunch of laundry. And then let's see, if you want to see the rest of the room, let's see. This is Wesley's like drum and music stuff. There's a couple of violins and then some practice pads for his drums because we live in an apartment, so it doesn't really work for him to have real drums here. And then let's see, that's the little faux fireplace that I typically record in front of, or I was recording in front of for a while. Let's see, that guy right there, I will go grab as soon as I put the camera back and show you guys. That's a that's a crochet project that I made quite a while ago. And then this is the bed, which we just got a new bedspread for today. So this is a new bedspread, which I'm kind of excited about. And then this is what's behind me when I'm recording. So that's the door, all of that. And then, let's see. And then over here is just our sad clothing storage solution in a tiny closet. So yeah, that's the room. Let's see if I can put this back up on the computer without anything awkward happening. I have the camera perched on the monitor for the desktop because that way it's actually at like an appropriate height. Otherwise it wouldn't be quite right if it was on my laptop. All right, so that's our bedroom. So like I said, I mentioned this last week when I was talking about things being a hotel. We're working on making the whole apartment much more like cozy and homey, but yeah, we're getting there. And I'll probably do a tour again once we have it all done. But yeah, so that's the new setup. So what we're going to talk about today, other than that, is finished objects, works in progress, what's coming up. We'll talk about the knit along. I'll have to think of a question of the week on the fly because I don't have one right now. And then I'll talk about the past week because I'm actually 100% not prepared. I just didn't have time to prepare for this. So I was like, we got home, I was like, okay, I'm recording. So once again, doing this without notes. And it's kind of cool because like I'm standing right now, so it means I can really move and be free, and I'm enjoying this. So yeah, this is just too fun. Anyway, let's talk about knitting, shall we? So finished objects. My finished object this week is my Viking socks. So these got finished up on Monday, I think, or Tuesday morning. I forget which, but they are done, and these are made with Cascade Heritage sock, which is a 75/25 superwash merino nylon, and the color is 5611, I believe, and it's kind of a butter color, which is actually showing up pretty true to life with the lighting right now, so that's kind of nice. I think most of the time it's been getting pretty washed out, but right now it's actually showing up really well. So I like this. I got really good like definition on the cables. These were how did I do these? I started out with 80 stitches on the leg, and then I did the heel, and then when I was decreasing for the gusset, when I was doing the gusset decreases, I decreased down to 72 stitches. So it's a 80/72 stitch sock. And I mentioned this last week, but I basically did the front cable and the back cable, and I think the pattern has you doing ribbing like in between these, and I did not because I just didn't want to. So yeah, and other than like a couple of just like little aesthetic boo-boos in a couple places where, you know, I did across the wrong direction, or like here I forgot to like move out when I was supposed to, right there. So whatever, it happens. Otherwise these worked really well. Oddly enough, they came out kind of long. I mean, it's not by very much, but it's just long enough that it's like, why don't these fit quite right? And I don't know why that happened, but yeah, I like them. Like I said last week, because of the cabling, it makes them a little bit bulkier like on the top, so I probably won't wear these with shoes anyway. They'll just be kind of around the house socks for like in the morning when it's chilly and stuff. So it doesn't matter that they don't fit quite right. I mean, they fit great everywhere else. It's just that they're just a little bit long in the toe, and it's really weird. So yeah, that's these. And this is the first time that I ever did like patterning continued down onto a heel flap or onto a toe, and I actually really like it, which I will show you in my work in progress. So yeah, these are my finished object. And oh, I forgot to mention, if you're looking for links to any patterns or anything that I'm talking about, those will all be linked in the notes, and where those notes are will depend on where you're watching this. So if you're watching this on YouTube, down in the description box, there will be a link to the blog post that corresponds with this episode. In the blog post for this episode and in the Ravelry thread for this episode, all the patterns that I mention, all the shops that I mention, any other podcasts, anything like that will be linked right underneath the video, so you can go there and find that stuff. So yeah, I will link the pattern. I forget who made that pattern. You know what? I can just look it up because I have all my notes pulled up on the desktop computer, so it really is like podception right now. So these are the Viking socks by Karen Lager. And like I said, I will link to that in the notes for this episode. So yeah, what's in progress? That is my Snosberry socks. And I really had hoped that I would have at least one done by today. And I mean, I'm practically done. I will finish this before I go to bed tonight. So this is the first one. And I am on the toe decreases. Anyway, so this this pattern is by Rachel Coopy. And it's called Snosberries, and I am knitting this with my 75/25 Corriedale nylon yarn in the blackberry colorway from Kim Dye's Yarn. And this is not showing up quite right. Can I get closer? There we go. It's showing up a little bit darker, I feel like, than it is in real life, but it's kind of these dark purples, a little bit of a light gray purple. Oh, what are you doing? Focus. And then little splashes of kind of like a brighter pinky purple. And this is what it looks like. So again, I'm not quite sticking to the pattern. So because on the pattern, you're supposed to do the cabling on both the front and the back of the leg. And I decided I didn't want to do that because I wanted to because it's such a pretty yarn, I wanted to be able to actually show off just the yarn itself. So I did the back of the leg plain and then just did the pattern on the front. Excuse me. And I also messed with the stitch count a little bit. So because of the way the cabling is and you do a bunch of twisted stitches and stuff, her sizes are done a little bit differently, where the smallest size is a 70 stitch sock. And so I'm doing a 72 stitch sock because I figured I didn't need the medium size since I wasn't doing the cabling on the back. And that led to a little bit of like finagling the stitches around, but I mean, it's worked out fine. So this is what the front looks like, and I'm gonna try and keep my needles from banging out all over the place. So this is what the front looks like. And like I said, I am right down at the toe decreases. So like I will be done in like no time with this, but I was kind of feeling very meh about this like cable pattern because it looks so pretty in the pictures. And I was like, why doesn't it look as pretty like on my sock? Like, did I do something wrong? But what I realized is that like this cable pattern really kind of needs to be stretched out. So like that's what it looks like when it's stretched out. And it looks, oh, come on, focus. Oh, come on, what are you doing? Anyway, it looks so much better when it's stretched out versus kind of when it's all bunched together. So I think that these are one of those socks that look way better on your feet than they do in real life. So yeah, I'm excited to get this one done. I really wish I would have had the pair done, but like I said, I didn't finish the Viking socks until maybe like Monday or Tuesday, and so I didn't start these until midweek, and I just haven't had a lot of time for knitting this week, which I will talk about in my chit-chatty sort of stuff. But yeah, well, that's life. I'm hoping to definitely have the other one finished by the end of, like before I record, and to have another pair started, my next pair of socks started before I record next week. So yeah, let's talk about the next pair. The next pair is going to be using this beautiful yarn that I've shown a couple weeks now in a row from Fleece Artist, and this is an 80/20 BFL merino blend, and it is in the Forest Fairy colorway, and it's just these really pretty colors. I know I've shown this multiple times, but I am so in love with it. And I will be doing the brainless socks with this. And the brainless sock pattern is, let's see, is by Yarnissima. Anyway, like I said, I'll link everything. So that will be these, and these will probably be either for myself or for my my girlfriend back home who I've sent socks to before. I sent her my Forest for the Trees socks and the Melisandre socks because she just got into grad school. Well, she got into multiple grad schools, I think, and finally picked one. And it's in Colorado, and it just seems very appropriate to send her another pair of socks for that. But we'll see. We'll see. I know she recently went vegan again, and so I don't know if she's wearing wool still. So we'll see about that. But anyway, they will either be for me or for her. But yes. So that will be that, and I'm super excited to knit with that. And then the next pair is my business casual socks, which I've seen a lot of people do, and I'm kind of very excited about it. And this pair will be either, I think it will be for Wesley probably, because it's been a while since I've made him a pair of socks. And I'm gonna be using, it's this Wild Foot sock yarn, and it's 75/25 superwash wool nylon, and it is in the color Tomcat. And this is the label Wildfoot. Come on, focus. I have the autofocus on, so who knows what it's doing. Anyway, Wildfoot, and it is, oh, it's from Nebraska. Oh, that's cute, because that looks like Nebraska. Anyway, so it's from Nebraska, so that's very cute. I like that. And I think this will be for the business casuals. This was sent to me by a very, very kind viewer. Thank you. And I'm super excited about it. And it's kind of his colors, very kind of plain. I think it will work well for that stitch pattern because, you know, he doesn't like things that are fussy, but he does wear those other socks that I made him as often as they are clean. So I think these would be good for him. I think he'll like them. But yeah, so that's the next two pairs coming up in the queue. I just remembered I totally promised to show something off and then I forgot. So this is what I was promising to show you guys. This is a happypotamus. I forget what the pattern's called. Anyway, I will link it, of course. But this is a crochet project that I did forever ago for Wesley, and I forget like the circumstance, it was when I was living in Nebraska and he was like gone for something or something, I don't know. Like he was home for something, I think. Like he was living there too and he was away for some, I don't know. Anyway, it's a giant hippo. It's a big crocheted hippo. It's done using these like little modular patterns. So like this is like one piece and it's like kind of like a granny square, but it's like hexagons and stuff like that. And yeah, I crocheted it with worsted weight and like a size J hook or something. So that's why he's so gigantic. But yeah, he was one of the things that was valuable enough to bring along in our move, and kind of a nice little memory of like my time in Nebraska. And I'll probably make more someday, but yeah, great pattern, super easy. Definitely something I recommend for someone who like wants to make bigger like crocheted toys, but doesn't want to do like them all in one piece. Because like the great thing about this guy is that like you can make all of the pieces ahead of time and then just do the join as you go all at once, and then you magically have a giant hippo. So yeah. Anyway, okay, back on topic. So let's talk about knit-alongs. So let's talk about mine, and then I have another one to mention. So ours, the cable knit-along, we are a little bit over halfway through, and kind of like I expected, there has been a boom, an explosion of finished objects within the past week or so. And so we are up to 31 finished objects now, which is super exciting. And I feel like every time I check, there's like 5 new finished objects, which may just be me not having enough time to keep up with it, but it's super exciting. I'm super happy about that. And I love seeing all of them because they're just all so different. And I'm like, I want to knit every one of these combinations. So that's really fun. So yeah, like I said, we're about halfway through, so there's still a couple weeks left. I don't have a prize yet. I really need to get on that. But yeah, that will be wrapping up at the end of April, and then we'll be on to lace, which will be interesting because I've never knit lace socks before. I mean, then again, most of these things, like I had never knit a pair of cabled socks before. Well, I guess I had, but not a really intense pair of cabled socks before this thing. So it's all new to me. Anyway, so of course, I will link to that thread in the notes for the episode if you want to go check it out, check out the rules, and get a pair of socks in. And I mentioned this last week, but just in case this is your first time here or something, in which case, yay. I also did a tutorial, it was posted last weekend, on how to do cables without a cable needle. And so I will make sure to link that as well in case, you didn't see it last week or whatever, and you're thinking about doing, cabled socks, but you don't want to be lugging around a cable needle, or you find it very intimidating. I will link to that in case you want to check that out and see if that helps you out to do this. So the other knit along I wanted to mention is the Knitting Expat, Expat Yarn knit along. And I mentioned that because this yarn came to me as part of her expat yarn swap, which was basically something where like you get paired up with someone in another country from you and you send them a skein of yarn, they send you a skein of yarn. So my partner was in Canada, and so this yarn is from Nova Scotia. Yeah, it's from Nova Scotia. So like I sent her yarn from a Virginia dyer, she sent me a Canadian yarn, and then I had been pretty sure that there was a knit along to go with it, but I wasn't sure. Now there is. So from April 1st to May 31st, Mina from the Knitting Expat, who's awesome, you should totally check out her podcast, even though I'm super behind on hers. I'm super behind on everyone's because I just don't have time these days. But anyway, she's super awesome. She's hosting a knit along from April 1st to May 31st. And basically, you don't have to have participated in the yarn swap. So like I did that, but you don't have to. You basically, I'm reading the rules right now. All you have to do is knit a project out of yarn that is not from where you are. I.e., if you are from the US, use a yarn that's not made or dyed in the USA, etc. for other countries. So yeah, I feel like that could be very easy because like for people here in America, we could use, Opal or Regia or like Crazy Zauberball. Those are all non-American yarns as far as I know. So yeah, like that's really cool and fun, and you could easily enter a pair of socks in it, and it runs from April 1st to May 31st, so like that's tons of time to get in. So I will definitely put a link to the thread for that as well, so that you can go check out the rest of the rules and double dip. If you're knitting something for this knit along that's made out of a non-native wool to wherever you are, you should definitely enter it in her knit along as well. So yeah, sweet. So that's knit along stuff. Question of the week. So my question of the week last week was asking about like what people do when they finish a pair of socks. You know, do you lovingly give it a bath and then let them dry on blockers and then fold them up and put them away? Or are you like me and you shove them on your feet as soon as you get done with them and never look back? And it was kind of a fun like mix between who did each, and I really enjoyed kind of seeing different people's responses, and it was nice to know that I'm not the only one who's like super impatient and is like, socks, get on my feet. Like the fact that I haven't worn these yet is only because I knew that I wouldn't get them rewashed like before I wanted to show them, and I don't like to show socks that have been worn but not washed. So I was like holding off, but I will probably have these on my feet tonight because I don't know if I can get my foot high enough. This is the problem with a standing desk is now I'm not... I'm wearing commercial socks right now, so because I am so behind on laundry. You guys saw the pile of laundry. I'm not adulting. But anyway, so that was my question of the week last week. So my question of the week this week is... Oh my gosh, I have to think of something. I don't know. Okay, here's my question of the week this week. Because sometimes I stockpile question of the week ideas, like sometimes they'll come to me in like the middle of the week and I'll write them down, and I'm out of question of the week ideas. So here's my question/request. Send me question of the week ideas because I need them. I'm running out. And that's mostly just because today I didn't stop and think. But I mean, in general, sometimes I have a really hard time coming up with questions of the week. So send me ideas for what you'd like to hear about, or like what you maybe would like to know about from other knitters. It's like if you have like a burning question that you want to ask other knitters, let me know what it is and I will ask for you. So yeah, that's my question of the week this week. Send me questions of the week. And next week I will try to be more prepared. Like I said, I'll mention this in my chit chat stuff, but I have had a heck of a week. So yeah, which I guess we are about at that point now. I'm trying to look around, see if there's anything else knitting wise that I needed to talk about. I feel like this is kind of short in terms of like the knitting stuff, but hopefully that's okay. We'll see. I just realized I'm hoping that my microphone is picking me up okay. I realized last week that it came out a little bit quiet, and that's because I had been messing with the gain on it and then forgot to turn the gain back up. And so today I made sure to turn it way up, and so hopefully it'll come out okay. I'd much rather turn the sound down, like adjust it after the fact with the sound down versus trying to bring it up, because it's harder to bring the sound up when it's too quiet versus quieting it down when it's too loud. So yeah. Anyway, I think that's it for the knitting stuff. So if that's all you're here for, thank you very much for hanging out with me for, I don't know, however long it's been, 20 minutes or so. And I hope to see you again next week. Otherwise, let's talk a little bit about the past week for me. Like I said, the past week was kind of crazy. And crazy just like in that I was just really busy and didn't have a lot of time for like chilling out or knitting or anything like that. And just had like a lot of other stuff to do. So I'm trying to think of like what order of the days I did this stuff in, and of course I don't have like any of my planners or notebooks, so we'll go with it. I'll make stuff up as I go along. But anyway, so yeah, so the week started kind of normal, just kind of the way it normally does. And okay, so another bummer about standing desk is that like I can't knit while I'm sitting and talking right now because I can't knit standing up, so like it's kind of annoying. Anyway, so yeah, we started pretty normal, and then I think it was maybe Wednesday or so. Okay, back up. So I'm in charge of the labs, right? And that means I'm also in charge of the lab manuals for each semester. And it's getting to the point now where they're starting to think about like teaching over the summer and things like that, and kind of, the TA schedule and stuff like that. And which means I really need to get my butt in gear with getting the lab manuals ready for summer. So I've been, slowly picking away at it, and there's some changes that I wanted to make to test out over the summer and stuff like that. So, now it's like, okay, go time. And I guess in the past, like they used to sell physical lab manuals, but they did it like through the department or something, which is kind of a no-no, and so they had to put the kibosh to that. So I don't know how long they've been doing this for, the past couple of years, I guess. They've basically been putting PDFs online for the students, and then the students print it out and bring it to lab with them. which in theory is a great idea. Like if you have your own printer and have your own paper, or you go home to your parents' house or something, like it can definitely save you a lot of money to do it that way, and all of that. But the problem is not every student's responsible. So students will either forget their manual, or like they'll wait too long and then the printer's broken, or whatever. Or like if they're printing at the library, I'm not convinced that it saves them that much money to print it out every week. And so it's just, and of course when students don't bring it, then it's stressful on the TAs because, then they have to print it there and they're not prepared. And another bummer is like, because students will typically only bring what they need for that week, you can't say, oh, look back at this experiment and look at that, and we are going to do this one a very similar way. Because most of the time they don't have that with them. And we can expect them to, but like it's just not really the way the system is built to allow that. So what I want to do is like, I want to sell the textbooks in the books, or the lab manuals in the bookstore, like with the textbooks, because I get that it may cost students a little bit more money, but not that much more. And like, that's just part of the cost of going to college. And I'm pretty sure no other department does it like this. So like, why should we, So I want to say it was probably Tuesday or Wednesday, I went to the bookstore on campus and talked to the guy who's in charge of that kind of stuff. And it was really funny because like at first I think he thought I was a student, because I was like, yeah, I need to talk with someone about, selling a book through the bookstore. And he was like, well, yeah, do you have your ID and your book with you? And I'm like, no, I'm a faculty member. I want to sell something like as a textbook. And he's like, oh. I was like, come on. Anyway, so I talked with him, and it turns out all I have to do is send him the PDF. They handle the printing process. There's no upfront cost to the department, all of that. I just send him the PDF and everything else gets done for me. I was like, then why has nobody done this? The catch, of course, being that it is due into them by April 15th. So that is in about 2 weeks. I have to have it to them. So I wasn't really expecting that to be the deadline, and that's the deadline for both summer and fall. So I had kind of gone in expecting, okay, I probably missed the summer deadline, but I'll hit it for the fall. Nope, same deadline. So I'm like, shoot. So the rest of the week was spent like furiously editing lab manuals and trying to get them ready so that they can go to the lecture professor, who doesn't really care that much about it, but they have to look at it. So I get it to them so that they can look at it and then get it back to me, and then I can make the final revisions. But it's also meant, trying to make sure that like experiments work, which some of them just are not working well. Like we have this experiment for the lab that I teach that deals with like sound and calculating the speed of sound that just doesn't work well with the equipment we have. And so I was trying to figure out how to make that work, and it turns out it'll work a lot better, which is tuning forks and PVC pipe. So that's my solution. But yeah, so that was like the rest of my week basically was, just doing that as, like the whole time I was at work. So like I didn't get any knitting done at work, I think, for like the second half of the week, which, granted, like it's my job. Like if I'm at work, I should be working. So it's not like I expect to get knitting done there, but a lot of the time I kind of have extra little bits of time in the day where I can do it. And so it was just kind of like a bummer to like not have any like breaks or anything. Like I was just so busy, and I would just end the day and just be completely dead and exhausted. So that was kind of rough. And that was basically like the second half of my week. And then what did we do yesterday? Yesterday was Saturday. We got the desk put together, which was kind of a thing, given that like we have no power tools in our apartment. So I borrowed a drill that I happened to have in my office. I brought that home, and we used that to like screw everything together. And yeah, so that was yesterday. That was a big project. And what else did we do? I feel like there was something else we did yesterday, but I honestly can't remember it. Friday, we tried out a new place on campus to eat, which I guess was on the Food Network show Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives, I think. And if I can find the episode, I'll link it. We kept meaning to look for it, and I haven't looked for it yet. But I'll try and find the episode and see if I can link that. But it's this little place that's like on campus. It's kind of on the very edge of campus, and I walk by it every single day on the way to work. And just had never gone in because I thought it would be kind of eh. And we went there, and it was really good. Like, it was a really good dinner and not nearly as expensive as I thought it would be. And so yeah, so that was kind of fun. It was like a fun new place to try out. And yeah, we did that yesterday, and then, or we did that Friday, and then yesterday we built the desk. And I'm trying to think, I feel like I didn't get a lot else done yesterday. I was just so tired yesterday from like the whole week. And then today I'm exhausted because when the weather gets nicer around here, a lot of people want to be out in the middle of the night making noise on the weekends. So we had neighbors on both sides of us keep us up all night. And like, so the ones on this side, we share kind of like a front stoop with them. And so like they like to go out on their front stoop and smoke cigarettes, which I mean, like that's whatever. If you want to do that to yourself, fine. It kind of annoys me because like when the windows open, like cigarette smoke then comes up into our apartment, but it doesn't really bother me during the day, but it bothers me at night when they're like drunk and it's 2 o'clock in the morning and they want to sit out there and like yell and smoke cigarettes. Like then it's kind of like, guys, I want to sleep. And even like once I shut the window, it was like, still can't sleep because you guys are still making noise. So then they finally went inside, and then our neighbors on the other side came home from the bar, I have to assume, or a party or something, because it was like 4 o'clock in the morning. They came home and were sitting out on the front step smoking and yelling and being drunken messes. And it was like, you children, you know? And so, yeah, that kept me up all night. And then like the problem was like I woke up and like something I had eaten didn't agree with me. And like, it probably would have been fine had I just been able to get back to sleep. But because of like annoying neighbors, couldn't get back to sleep. So then I had to like get up and kind of like sit and wait till I felt better and then come back to bed. So I was like, And then what else? And so then today we went to like Home Goods and picked up the new bedspread. We picked up some paintings, which not paintings, like pictures, like wall hanging things, which are out there. We're still looking for something to go here. Here. There we go. Here. Because we want to have something like over the bed, but we're not really sure what we want. So, and when nothing we saw like really struck us, and to get like a picture that big is kind of pricey. So we like, if we didn't fall in love with anything, we're not going to buy anything. So we did that, and we also got this cute little paperweight, which I just think is adorable. It's like a little jellyfish in a big piece of glass, and it's really heavy because it's like solid glass. So like it's super cool. I'm really excited about it. Super cute. And then I had my tutoring. So like we did that because the Home Goods is kind of in the same area as my tutoring. So like we went to Home Goods, and then there's like a Whole Foods like right there. So we got lunch at Whole Foods. And oh my God, I had the best like little tiny cheesecake, like because I've been craving cheesecake for a while, but it's hard to find like gluten-free cheesecake. So I found one, of course, at Whole Foods for like an exorbitant price, but this little tiny one, and I ate the whole thing, and it was so rich, and I was like, bleh. But so yes, we did that, and then like I dropped Wesley off at a Starbucks so he could like work on homework when I went to do my tutoring. And then on the way home we went to Target and picked up a shower curtain, fun adulting sort of things, and then now here we are. And I think we're just gonna take it easy for the rest of the night. I'm gonna try and get my Snozberry finished up and get this edited and uploading. And yeah, and then this next week I think is gonna be just as much like full force, like full steam ahead kind of a thing, where it's just like I just have to like put my head into my work and just get it done. And I feel bad because I've been neglecting the other half of the blog, like the writing kind of stuff. So I'm gonna try and get a post up for that this week, and we'll see. I just need to adult better, and I think I just need more time in the day. One time my older brother, when he was younger, asked as like a joke for like a birthday present, he asked for a 27-hour day. And so as a joke, my dad like took the face out of a clock and like covered it and made it into like a 27-hour day. And so that's always been a joke. But like seriously, I just need a 27-hour day. And that reminds me, another thing that happened this week that is, I mean, it affects me, but not really, is that my parents sold their house. So obviously my parents aren't here. They live back in Minnesota. And this is the house that I grew up in. So like it's kind of weird in that way that like I feel like I should feel something about it, but like I haven't lived there in, oh my gosh, I'm 26 now, and I moved out when I was 18. And I've maybe been there for like a couple weeks in like a summer or something, but like pretty much since I was, let's say 20, I haven't lived there. So that's 6 years that I haven't lived there. So I don't feel like warm fuzzy things about it as much anymore, especially because it's so different. Like after all of us kids moved out, like it was very different. My dad redid the whole house and everything. But yeah, so they sold the house. I guess it sold in only like 3 days. Like it was on the market a super short amount of time. But my dad was saying they had like 30 showings in 3 days. It was just ridiculous. So it was kind of exciting. I mean, it was stressful for him, but I think he's glad that it's sold. My parents are divorced, so my mom doesn't live there anymore. My dad does. And so he will be out of there by the end of the month, which will be really weird because he's moving back down to Iowa, where his family is from, to like be closer to my grandparents who are getting really old and, you know, stuff like that. So it'll be really weird to like not have him living there anymore, especially because like, you know, my mom lives there. Wesley's parents live, you know, in the Minneapolis area. So then, you know, to go see my dad, I'll have to go all the way down to Iowa, which will definitely make things complicated. But I'm excited for him. I think it'll be fun for him to be, you know, closer to his family. And yeah, it'll just be different. It was interesting. Like all week I was getting texts about, you know, the house selling process. And so I'm glad that it's over for them. Like I'm glad that they, you know, are done with it now. So yeah, that was the other exciting thing that not really happened to me this week, but happened that I was sort of along for the ride with, I guess. And at this point, I think I'm gonna be done. Yeah, I think I'm gonna be done. So yeah, that's gonna be it. Thank you so much for hanging out with me for this time this afternoon or morning, whatever it is that you're watching this. It's afternoon for me, but actually it's getting to be evening and I'm getting to be hungry. So yeah, I think it's about dinner time and I feel like there was something else. Oh, I need to hang a new shower curtain. So yeah, since adulting till the end. But yeah, thank you so much for hanging out with me. And if this was your first time here, thanks for making it this far and I hope to see you again next week. And if you are coming back from a previous week, same thing. I mean, thanks for watching the whole way through and I hope to see you again and thanks for coming back. And I guess that's it. I'll see you guys next week. Bye.